Hello, what's going on everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little video for you this afternoon. The afternoon daytime show to run down the latest transfer news going on at Manchester United. How are we all doing today, folks? Thanks for getting in the stream. Let me see who we've got aboard the Bacon Express this afternoon. We've got a bunch of legends in here. Tafiso and Barter, what's going on? Templar Priest, Silver Wave, Scott, Sean Hockridge, what's going on? Also, we've got in the gaff Scott05 there, Philip Chapman, what's going on, dude? Greg L, United, JK, welcome aboard the Bacon Express, Dad. Sam Akonda, good to see you, mate. Nick Pendragon, good day from down under. Bell6891, welcome aboard. Sleepster, Aaron Spear, Crazy Joe, Duke of Rodtown, and everybody else as well who's getting in the live chat, welcome aboard the show. Thank you for joining us for today's news rundown. Do us a favour at the start of this one, smash that thumbs up button, give it a cheeky little like, you know it makes sense, share it around on social media if you're that way inclined, give us a cheeky little retweet if you want. We've pinned the tweet to the top of the live chat, you know it makes sense to give us a cheeky little retweet and share the show around and help spread the word. So yes, please do that. We've got plenty of news to get into. We're hoping on some big news throughout the day today, but we'll have to wait and see about that one, obviously. Depends on United, because let's face it, United are a bunch of bottle merchants when it comes to getting deals done. But we're just hoping that we can stop being Slabby Maguire-esque and maybe do a bit of a deal today, guys. That's really what's on the agenda. But we've got plenty to talk about and plenty to get into, so strap yourselves in at the start of this one, because it's going to be a screamer. Okay. Yes, indeed. Fire up. You're absolutely bang on. Smash that like button. Give it a massive thumbs up. Right, let's get into it. So, where's Onana at, you say, Malps? Where's Onana, says Pete Morris? I'll tell you where Onana is. He's in Milan, mate. He's in Milan. So, Laurie Whitwell with a little report here earlier on, a few hours ago, saying that Andre Onana arrived for pre-season training at Inter today and signed autographs for fans who chanted his name. Onana. What's my name? Onana. What's his game? Amid Man United keeper uncertainty, club are blocking Luton's move for Tom Heaton, plus Sunderland's approach for Nathan Bishop. So, you know, that's where he is at the moment. He's still in Milan at this moment in time. Man United haven't got a deal done or agreed yet between the two girls. I'm gonna sneeze. Chewbacca. Chew it. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's dusty in this garage today, folks. So, yes, Man United still trying to get a deal done for Andre Onana. If we can do it today, it would be nice. There are reports of bids going in or potentially coming in very, very soon, which we'll cover in a moment. But just to let you know what's going on with him, Andre Onana is having the pre-season training at the moment with Inter. So, you know, he's actually joined up with them to start the pre-season. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to read too much into that. He's still got the big potential to sign for Manchester United in this transfer window. It's just a case of, you know, Man United and Inter have to agree a deal, and then obviously he will leave their pre-season camp. But it is a bit annoying that it hasn't been done and dusted before that, and that he had to sort of return to pre-season. Big shame. You know, there's plenty of reports coming out. You have to take them with a pinch of salt, though. But, like, Manchester Evening News reporting that Man United submit £47 million bid for Andre Onana. Well, you know, we haven't seen true confirmation yet from any of the super-duper reputable sources yet in regards to an offer being submitted, but there are reports that United have submitted a £47 million bid, which is, you know, around about 55 million euros. Essentially, it's understood Inter still want to get about 60 million euros, and as per these reports here, which suggest that decisive hours in the negotiation between Manchester United and Inter for Onana, Man United should submit their offer to Inter, which is close to 60 million euros, including bonuses. That's from Alfredo Padilla. So, you know, there's obviously varying reports out there. United probably do need to get quite close to 60 million euros to sign this guy. Probably in between 55 million and 60 million. So about 57 million euros. Hopefully we'll get the job done. But at this moment, there is a level of uncertainty surrounding the Andre Onana deal, just because, you know, Man United are not the most convincing when it comes to trying to get these deals done quickly. Are we prepared to go and spend that few million extra, or will we let Inter sweat a little bit in the hopes that in a couple of weeks' time, we might be able to get him for a few million quid less. That might be the case. But it's understood that the Onana deal could be done reasonably quickly as long as United are prepared to not be a bunch of bottle merchants. So reports here that Inter could close on Onana's sale to United in the next few hours. Inter sporting director Piero Asilio has flown to London to try and seal the Onana deal quickly. This is a report that's come out today anyway. So, it's quite possible that we could see a deal agreed today. If not, then hopefully it will be in the next coming days. We had an update last night from Fabrizio Romano, which just said that he understands that today, Thursday, is the crucial day to make Andre Onana deal happen, and that Man United and Inter will speak today. Optimism remains after negotiations in the last hours, after some tense moments. So, the next 24 hours essentially will be very, very key on getting this guy in. It's just boring, isn't it, guys? It's just classic Manchester United, very slow and mundane behaviour in the transfer window. Really frustrating. We still need to get a striker as well, and we've just been fanning around on this goalkeeper for a good while, and it is absolutely morose. So hopefully we see it happen very soon. We'd like to see a bid submitted from Manchester United and officially announced very soon. We'd like to think that Inter will accept our deal, and if they do, then he should be a Manchester United player within the next week. Because obviously it takes a little while for paperwork to be completed, medicals to be done, and him to obviously be presented at the football club, and that can happen in the space of a week. But yeah, if we're not careful, then it could be another preseason game that we miss with our new goalkeeper, and we want to get this guy in to have the opportunities to work with the current squad, to work with Ten Hag, and obviously get an understanding of what we are trying to do going forward for the season. So we are very much waiting for the news and the confirmation that there is a deal between the two clubs. Oh my goodness me, what a bunch of losers Manchester United's recruitment team are. Just pay the pig in money now. Just a couple of million quid discrepancy between the two sides. Pay the pig in money and get the deal done so we can start to plan for the next player, which we'll get into now. Then, guys. By the way, if you're just joining us, we've got 100 legends in the live chat. Do us a favour and hit that like button on the show. Give us a boost up there on the algorithm. Every little like helps. It's free show, free content. That's all we ask is a cheeky little like on this video and a share if you want. So give it a cheeky little thumbs up and let's get 100 likes on the stream at the start of this one. And get your thoughts and opinions in throughout, of course. This is a fully interactive channel and a fully interactive show. We've got a great community around here. We do dip in and out of the live chat throughout the shows. So have your say, get your thoughts in. And of course, we have a big Q&A at the end of the show also. So stick around for that. If you haven't had your comments read out, we will get into loads of comments at the end of the show. Get in there, you legends. Definitely Matty Braga. We desperately need a striker for next season. So let me cover the striker latest. So, there's all this talk and negotiation going on around Hojlund. The last time we heard about it, that United and Murtaugh was in strong dialogue with Atalanta to try and sort of fresh out a deal where we could be bringing Hojlund in and maybe seeing a player go in the opposite direction. There was talks of Mason Greenwood maybe going in the opposite direction, but there are now fresh reports to suggest that they're not interested in an exchange deal at all. So Laurie Whitwell a few hours ago reporting that Man United proposed players in a part exchange deal during talks on Rasmus Hojlund, but Atalanta only want cash, and it's reported that Atalanta want £85 million for Rasmus Hojlund. Are they taking the piss? Are you having a laugh? You know what I mean, guys? That's ridiculous. 85 million quid for this guy who scored like picking 9 goals last season for him in the league. Fuck off. No way. Sorry to say, but, you can add a little bit more and go and get Harry Kane if we're talking about spending that amount of money on a striker. And then Harry Kane scored 30 Premier League goals last season for shitting Spurs. If he could do that for Spurs, he'd score 1 million goals for Man United this season, So it's like, what are we doing? We're not going to pay that amount of money for Rasmus Hojlund, even if he is young and a big prospect. Atalanta have to get real and be realistic on this whole front because they're not going to get a deal from Man United for that amount of money. And if we do pay that amount of money, we're mental. £85 million is what they want, which is about 100 million euros. It's an insane amount of money for anybody. Certainly, it's way too much money to pay for a guy like Rasmus Hojlund, who's only got a goal tally at, single digits last season. Pretty ridiculous. Let's ask the live chat, guys. Would you be happy for Man United to spend £85 million of our transfer budget this season on Rasmus Hojlund? Yes or no? Some of you may say yes, because he is a good young player and it's not our money. He's just a player that we're going to get, but it's too much of a risk. It's too much of a gamble. It's too big a piece of the pie of our transfer kitty to go and spend on this young kid who hasn't actually proved himself to a high level yet. He does have bags of potential, but to suggest that he's guaranteed to come in and score 20 plus goals for us this season, it's just mental. Yeah, too much money, Kieran. I completely agree with you, you absolute legend. How are you getting on? Welcome aboard, you absolute don. Also, First Class Gamer in here. What's going on, my friend? Thank you, First Class Gamer, for getting in. He says, smash a like for the pig, or Maguire will sign for another 5 years. Oh, bloody hell, you better get smashing then. Okay, so, yes, you know, there is some reports to suggest that 85 million would be the figure that they want. My personal opinion is they couldn't, that can't be the case. You know, they can't actually realistically expect to get 85 million euros or 85 million pounds for this guy. It's just a number that I think the media is putting out there. Obviously, Laurie Whitwell here, and I believe it's just a case of, obviously, they're going to try and go high, aren't they? If you're having a negotiation, even if you're down at the car boot sale and you're trying to sell your Tomb Raider 2 PlayStation 1 game, it's like you're not going to go, oh, yeah, you can have it for 2p, mate. You start at 50p, you start at fiver even, you know? You got to start reasonably high before you, and by the way, that's probably worth a little bit these days, actually, but you've got to start reasonably high first, and that's probably just what the case of what Atalanta is actually trying to do here, as they are obviously trying to get as much money as they can. They're not going to start low. So it's going to be a long, drawn-out negotiation, it seems, for this guy. Reports are they're not interested in an exchange deal. We talked yesterday about the potential of them taking one of our players, or, you know, some of our players in return. Mason Greenwood could go out there on loan, and that would solve a lot of issues. Maybe we could give him Donny van der Beek or something like that. You know, just to try and make the deal a little bit more palatable for them. And so we don't have to spend as much money on this transfer. But it's too much money, guys. If you're talking about 85 million pounds, then it makes a lot more sense to go and buy Harry Kane. What do you think, guys? So, given the amount of money involved, who would you rather see Manchester United bring in a striker capacity? Kane or Hojlund? What's your thoughts and opinions? Get them in the live chat. Hey, Jarvis Cocker, what's going on? I hope you're enjoying your holiday in America, you absolute legend. Get in there, you Don. He says, in 2 years' time, Hojlund will be better than Kane. Just saying, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know, Jarvis. It's hard to imagine a reality where Hojlund goes on and scores 30 league goals for a shitty team like Spurs. But I hear you, though. You know, maybe he could go on. He does seem to have, you know, a lot of great attributes. As we said, he's a physical player. He's quick. He's tall. He's strong. And he's got an eye for goal. But single digits last season in Serie A, it's too much money for right now. I want to take him on. If we could go and get him, it would be a brilliant signing for Manchester United for now and for the future. You know, like you said, he's going to get better. He's only a young kid at this moment in time. So he's going to get significantly better. And that's really what you're banking on, is the fact that he will progress and that his potential far outweighs his current ability, and you're hoping that he gets a lot better, which will happen. It will happen. But right now, you can't justify paying that amount of money for the guy when you can just stump up a little bit more cash and go and get somebody like Kane, who, you know, who is already at that point where he's a ready-made, experienced player who's going to come in and slot in and pay and score you, you know, 30 goals maybe this season in the Premier League. That's something that Hojlund will just not do, in my opinion, because he's not there yet. Maybe in a few years' time he may be at that level, but he's not there yet. And we can only go on his statistics that he's got last season. Okay, you would hope that he's going to go and do well in the Premier League, but it is a tough league for players coming from foreign leagues to slot right into, and expect them to be able to do better than what they've shown in, say, an easier league, in my opinion, like Serie A. It's a little bit too much, so I don't think it's necessarily what we need right now anyway. In 2 years, like you said, yes, brilliant. That'd be fantastic for us. But right now, we need like a player to come in and just plug that problem area for us at the top of the pitch where we can, you know, score a lot of goals. Kane, says Philip. Kane, says Ben Bray. Arsenside, Cass. Kane says Dublin. Vutinator says we've got 69 likes, dudes. Thank you, everyone, for hitting that thumbs up button. Keep hitting the likes. You know it makes sense. Yeah, that's true, Mark. He says it's not who we rather see, it's who Ten Hag wants, and Ten Hag wants Hojlund. Well, you don't know that yet, Mark. And have you got a direct line to Ten Hag, have you, mate? No, you don't, do you? And the fact is, it's not necessarily about who Ten Hag wants. Maybe it's for who Ten Hag wants for a specific budget. Do you think he wanted Wout Weghorst last January? No, that's who was available at a certain price. And Man United will have a budget to work within, and Ten Hag will have to work within that budget. Now, if it becomes a point where Hojlund's the same sort of price as Kane, in my opinion, it makes sense to go for Harry Kane. So I feel you, but at the same time, it depends on the budget. It depends on very varying factors. I mean, you're right, though. Ten Hag went and got Mason Mount. My opinion of Mason Mount is that he's pretty average. Ten Hag's opinion of him is obviously that he's worth 60 million to go and spend the money on to bring into the side because of what he can give Ten Hag. And we've got rid of David De Gea, who's been a great goalkeeper for Manchester United, to go and get Andre Onana, who's stylistically a completely different player that's more befitting of what Ten Hag's trying to do. So you make a good point that these players are who Ten Hag wants, and Ten Hag, we have to have faith in him and understand that he's got to try and assemble the squad and the team for which will give him what he needs. So you're absolutely right, but I still think Kane is proven, ready-made. He is the RVP of this current time where we could just go and get a player to go and fire us to a title challenge, maybe. Or he's the Casemiro of striker, where we're looking for that older, experienced player who can come in and just slot in and plug that problem area in the team. Hojlund's not that guy right now for this season. He is the guy for the future, and he is the guy who can come in and score quite a few goals for us this season and develop into a really great player. But if you're looking for somebody to go and do what Kane did last season for us, then Hojlund's probably not there yet. He's just not there yet. He is obviously a great young player, and we wouldn't want to really miss out on him. But for that amount of money, it's just a little bit insane. By the way, we've got a new member of the channel. Welcome, Ubar. Let's go. Can we get your favourite emoji in there to welcome in Ubar to the Bacon and Egg Brigade? He's become a member of the Tier 2 Bacon and Egg Brigade members. Get in there, you legend. Guys, come on. Let's get a massive love heart in the live chat there for Ubar, or Ubar, or UBH, whatever, however it's pronounced there. Thank you so much for becoming a sponsor of the channel, mate. I really do appreciate that. Get in there, my son. We've got a new member of the channel. Much appreciated there. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. First Class got his Phil Jones emojis in there. Pete Morris, welcoming on board the Bacon Express as well. Thank you very much for becoming a member, my friend. Big ups, Jams. I hope you're doing well today, mate. Get in there. Must Play says, Hojlund hasn't won things. Well, neither's Harry Kane, to be fair. But Harry Kane's playing for the shithouses perennial bottle merchants in Tottenham. So, it's always going to be like, it's always going to be difficult to compare the two. They both haven't won anything, but that's not really Harry Kane's fault, is it? Because he plays for shitty Spurs. Let's be fair, it's totally different. Harry Kane's playing for a bunch of bottle merchants. So Harry Kane's carried Tottenham and been their talisman for many years now, and if it wasn't for Kane, they would be mid-table fodder most of the time. So really, Kane is such a huge player for them. It's just hard for him to go in and win anything for Tottenham because they are such melters. Hello there, 0793. What's going on, you legend? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us, bud. Yeah, true, Mark. He's never won anything. But the thing is, though, you have to remember that he plays for England and he plays for Spurs. Are you going to get bigger bottle jobs than that? No, they're the biggest bottle jobs going. Now, he could have, if he was a Man City player, he could just be a bit part melter and, have won loads of trophies. It doesn't mean he's a better or worse player just because of his trophy cabinet, to be fair. Because he's a Spurs melt. And that's the reality. So, you got to take that with a pinch of salt. Get in there, Jarvis. Thank you for having your say here, my friend. He says they have different projects. Yes, I prefer the up-and-coming Hojlund, but agree 85 million is gash. But let's not forget Kane will probably cost 60 million extra in wages over 3 years. Hey, yeah, very good point. I mean, Kane's going to be several £100,000 a week in wages. He's also towards the tail end of his career, so you probably will get 2 to 3 really top seasons out of Harry Kane, where he is scoring 20, 25 plus league goals a season for you. But then, it's game over. Then it's like, well, your asset that you've spent £100 million, say, on initially and are paying hundreds of thousands of pounds a week to over that contract, it's going for nothing in a few years' time. And so from an investment point of view, it's really not very good from an investment point of view. But if what you want is short-term results and the ability to maybe transform your team, the ability to score a lot of goals, maybe challenge for a title for the next couple of seasons, then I think you have to look at Harry Kane realistically. I mean, if we're going to have the most ambition this summer, Kane's the one. If not Kane, then obviously Mbappe's the one, but that's not realistic. Kane's less realistic than Hojlund. Hojlund's much more realistic, but he's also representing not the best value at the moment, if you ask me, because of how much Atalanta are asking for him. Then again, if you factor in the depreciation of Harry Kane and the wages that he would be paid compared to Hojlund, maybe it doesn't, maybe it doesn't add up to that much of a ridiculous amount. When you factor in as well, we paid 40 million to Atalanta for Amad Diallo. Of course they're going to want to get as much money as they can for this guy. But I don't want it to be another situation like that. I'm sure it won't be. That Hojlund's much more developed, had much more games. What were United doing with that whole Amad Diallo situation, by the way? Look, I know speculate to accumulate, buy young players and hope that some of them turn out to be world class. And he still may well go on and be pretty awesome, Amad Diallo. But can you believe we paid 40 odd million quid for a lad who'd not really had that many opportunities? He is probably going to go on and do some good things. He had a good season last season. He looked pretty lively in that game yesterday. I thought he had a good first half and maybe his finishing wasn't there, but the rest of his game looks sharp. He's a good young player, but bloody hell, 40 million quid and we loaned him out to Sunderland. Nutty amount to spend, and I don't really understand why we did that, to be fair. But there you go. When you can go and get somebody more seasoned and who's ready-made to come in and help your starting 11 right now for a bit more money, doesn't really make sense, but either way, that's what United did. Same with Donny van der Beek and that whole situation. What the pig in hell were we doing going to spend 35 million on a player we didn't even want? Very strange. Very strange indeed. But Ahmad could go on and do some great things. But who knows if he'll even feature in Man United squad this season. He could well be loaned out again. So I'm just saying, Atalanta saw us coming on that transfer. We spent way too much money on him. And so are they going to just let Hojlund go for anything less than a significant amount this time around? Probably not. They know that they can get a lot from Man United. Everybody just sees us coming. We have to pay a Man United premium to all these teams in order to buy players these days. It's like we have to give players away to sell them, but for us to actually buy players off of teams, they go, oh, Man United are going to add an extra 20 million on. It's a joke. It's a joke. Mark says, in 1 year, Greenwood would be better than Kane after getting back to match fitness. Yeah, but Greenwood's a filth bag. Come on, lad. It's not the same situation, is it? We can't have Greenwood playing for us right now, mate. Think about the absolute backlash. Think about the PR atrocity that it would be. Okay, look, he needs to go out on loan. He needs to move on with his life. Maybe people need to forgive him. Maybe whatever. I don't know. Me personally, I don't care if he never played for Manchester United again. He's a dirtbag, lad. He's a fucking dirtbag. Dooley do, welcome in. Okay, let's get into if you're just joining us and you want to know the latest on Onana, what's my name? This is the latest update really on Onana. We'll get back into Hojlund in a little bit. There's still other bits and pieces of information and transfer news to cover today as well. But as always, for now, drop a little thumbs up on it if you haven't done so. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're on here daily giving you the latest updates. And covering the latest Man United news for the transfer window. So keep up to date with what's going on by clicking the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon. Right, so Onana, we're just waiting for confirmation that there's a deal that can be struck up today. There are some reports, MEN reporting that United are submitting a £47 million bid for Andre Onana. Other reports suggest, 60 million euros is the magic number to get the deal done. There's thoughts that, this deal can be done pretty quickly. Piero Ausilio has flown to London to try and seal the Onana deal quickly. This is just via, various different reports. You have to take them with a pinch of salt. And Fabrizio last night said that today would be a very crucial time in order to get a deal struck up between the two clubs. So we're expecting some sort of imminent deal between Manchester United and Inter Milan. Could be today, should be today. But you know how Manchester United operate, and it seems like Inter Milan are playing the long game here, where maybe they'll be prepared to make United sweat a little bit so they can get an extra 5 million euros. They know we need this guy. They know Ten Hag wants him. And they know that we've got rid of De Gea and we're desperate for a goalkeeper. So if you were Inter, wouldn't you try and hang on another couple of days to try and squeeze an extra bit of money out of the deal? So it's on whether or not Manchester United want to pay that extra little piece of money. And he did train today. So reports are that Andre Onana arrived for pre-season training at Inter today. And he signed autographs for fans who chanted his name. So obviously, he is going and doing what he needs to do to sort of keep his head down. We heard from Inzaghi yesterday, who said that, of course, he's still an Inter player and that he will be coming back for the pre-season camp. Don't read too much into that. It's still on the two sides to negotiate the deal and get the transfer all wrapped up and everything. And that will happen, and it won't affect the situation, just him going to train with Inter for a few days. But it is frustrating. I do want to see a deal struck between the two clubs today. It would be nice. I mean, come on, United, just pay the extra couple of million. That's all it's really falling down on at the moment, is that United don't want to really pay more than 55 million euros, and Inter Milan are staying strong and trying to get 60 million euros from it. So we're talking about a difference of, 5 million euros here in order to get the deal done. It should hopefully be in the next couple of hours, the next few hours, and if that is the case, brilliant. Let's get it wrapped up. But let me just have a look and see the latest updates, see if there is anything more reported by Fabrizio or anyone, and no, there isn't. So there's nothing yet to suggest from top sources that there is a deal between Inter and Man United. Very disappointing. Let's ask the live chat in terms of a time frame. When do you think Man United will agree this deal with Inter Milan, if at all? Do you think it will be today? Do you think it'll be tomorrow? Do you think it'll be in a week? Let us know your thoughts and opinions. United are always late. United are always slow on the uptake and slow to the party. I think maybe it'll be tomorrow. Maybe it'll be today, I guess. But I think tomorrow maybe will be the day. Just got a feeling Friday. I don't know. You could see us bottling it, says United. Absolutely, yeah. Red Devils game into 2045 knowing United. It is very frustrating just how slow we are on all of these deals. Really, really annoying, isn't it? No deal at all, says Cass. Fair play to you. Never. It will collapse, says Tafiso. Thing is, if it collapses, who else are we going for? I mean, Onana's sort of ready-made, tailor-made for what Ten Hag wants. Ten Hag wants Onana. He's worked with him previously at Ajax. He's looking for somebody who's got that ability to play out from the back and distribute and, change the way we play. He wants somebody who's a complete polar opposite of David De Gea, really. Somebody who's good with their feet, somebody that obviously is going to get United playing out from the back and maybe get us on the offensive more so, and help us, with the press, help us with the distribution, help us with everything, really. So, if he can play out and actually find people at the top of the pitch to a better degree and get us going, that's going to help us in every regard. So going forward, playing higher up, playing more pressing, attacking football, playing more direct football, especially when we are trying to transition from defence into attack. These are things that he will help us with. So Ten Hag obviously wants him. Inter Milan know that we want him, and so that's the problem there. Really, is that they are probably waiting to get the money that they want. Let's have a look at some of the comments to see what you guys are saying. Dean Henderson out, says Lucky, saying, well, Dean Henderson's going to be somebody that maybe we might have to call upon if the Onana deal collapses. But it's ridiculous to suggest that Henderson's going to start the season as our number one. Heaton's still here at the moment. We've obviously got Kovar, but no, we need to sign a goalkeeper. Everybody knows we do. It's a lot of money to spend on a goalkeeper, though. But if you were not going to keep David De Gea, then you've got to go and get somebody. And the reality is, top-tier goalkeepers, there's not that many of them that are around and that will fit what Ten Hag really wants. So this guy is more towards the sort of mould of player that Ten Hag is looking for, because he will be different and a different type of goalkeeper. Henderson is a good goalkeeper. Yeah, good's the word. Good's the word, Willie Ryan. He's a good goalkeeper, he is. But is he a great keeper? Is he somebody that we could trust with our number one jersey for the next few years, or 5 years, or 12 years like David De Gea at this football club? No, he's not. I really don't rate him that highly. I think he's a good mid-table goalkeeper, and he should probably be going to a different club this summer for us to generate cash and to get his wage off the books, just to free up a little bit of space for us to, justify going to spend 60 million on a goalkeeper like Onana. Onana does look pretty awesome. I mean, he's obviously not as good a shot stopper as David, but in terms of the other aspects of what Ten Hag's looking for, he is good. And obviously Ten Hag, we have to trust Ten Hag. If Ten Hag wants to go and get a certain player to fit his system, that's what we need to respect. Like Mark N said earlier on, in regards to him wanting Hojlund, if that's who Ten Hag wants, we have to trust him. If Ten Hag wants Mason Mount, we have to trust him. So the same goes for this deal here. Have we just had a lagging moment there? I think we might have done, guys. Are we back? Smash a one if we're still coming through loud and clear. Sorry, we just had a bit of a lag up there. Not sure what's going on there. Shitty Richard Branson and his beardy, weirdy internet letting us down there, guys. For a second. I think we're back, though, aren't we? We are back. Thank you, Matej. Okay, nice one. Right, not sure what happened there. Okay, guys, so thank you, everyone, for getting your thoughts and opinions in about Onana. We'll just have to wait and see if Man United can strike up the deal today. But the situation is, we're just trying to get that deal agreed with Inter today, and hopefully it will be today. Just waiting on that. And Fabrizio gave us more of an update on Hojlund here as well, which is, he retweeted this today, told that Rasmus Hojlund remains on top of Manchester United's list as a new striker. Personal terms, never an issue, and he's very keen on the move. Man United never sent any official bid yet, just talks on the club player side as priority of new keeper. And as we mentioned earlier, the Hojlund exchange apparently rejected, and they want cash. That's what some people are reporting on online anyway, is that Manchester United have tried to work out a deal with Atalanta where we could perhaps have a player go in the opposite direction. Maybe we could include Mason Greenwood loan to sweeten the deal, because they'd be getting an excellent young player who would probably score more goals than Rasmus Hojlund for them this coming season. And it takes away that whole PR shitstorm from Manchester United as well. But apparently, that's going to be a hard sell, to be fair, even though he's a great young player. And so maybe Atalanta not interested in doing a deal like that. And they're just looking for 85 million in cash. That seems to be the amount of money that they want for this guy, which is just crazy money. He's not worth that amount of money for Manchester United right now. Yes, in a couple of years' time, I suppose we could be going, oh, crikey, we should have bought that guy for 85 million if we end up not getting him and he goes on to be one of the best strikers in the world. But right now, it's too much money. It's too much of our budget to go and spunk on one player. Right, let's get into the Anthony Elanga latest, because he is obviously one of the players that could be parting ways this summer with Manchester United. And just a bit more on it. Earlier on this morning, Fabrizio gave us an update. We were talking about this yesterday and the day before, that Everton are interested in Anthony Elanga, as are a few other clubs reported as well, and that we could be generating somewhere in the region of about 15 million quid, 20 million quid even. That would be a good price to get for Anthony Elanga. What do you think, guys? How much is Anthony Elanga worth in this current market? He is a young player. He has had a couple of decent spells at United. The season before last, when he had his breakthrough season, he looked like he could go on and do some fantastic things as a professional. But let's be fair, the last season, he was kind of rubbish. He was kind of a bit of a passenger. He didn't develop in the way that we were hoping he would over the last year. Not the best, not the most glittering of seasons. And he kind of just fell by the wayside last year. But he is young and does have potential. But, there's an expression which I think maybe fits him quite well in football. And that expression is a headless chicken. Maybe he's a bit of a headless chicken. And do we want another headless chicken at this club just not getting game time? Doesn't add up. He's not on the biggest wages because he's come through the youth ranks. So perhaps it would make sense for United to sell him. He's one of the players we could sell. As I always talk about, United price players out of the market because of how much we pay them. Nobody's going to pay Martial 200k a week, for instance. But Alanga's not on huge money. Donny van der Beek's not on huge money. These guys are saleable. These guys are saleable, and to generate a decent amount of transfer money as well, because of the fact that they are not on ridiculous wages. So Anthony Elanga is on big, big money for a young kid, but compared to most of the other sort of players at Manchester United, he's not. Which means that for other clubs that would perhaps be looking to bring him in as a prospect for the future and to play right now, particularly Premier League sides, he is actually, a player that would be wanted by other clubs. Alex Core says 60 million. You what? 30 million says doubling games. 20 is fair, says Thembelihi. Absolutely, yeah. At least 20 regular Swedish international. Precisely, yeah. Let's do what they do. 30 million. Why not loan Elanga out, says Fat Chinese Gaming. Great comment. Great comment. Well, okay, loan him out if you think that maybe he could go on and develop into one of the best in his position, and that maybe when he comes back in a year's time, he could get into United's first team. Or I guess you could do that, or to maybe hope that he goes on and improves, and perhaps we can sell him for more money in the future. But I'm not so sure. I think maybe now's the right time to cash in for about 20 million. Cash says 15 million. Pete says 15 to 20 million. Greg says 20 million in Lang. I think you guys have got it bang on, really. He's probably worth about 15 to 20 million quid. And that's the reality. Gregory Burke, thank you very much for getting your highlighted comment in here. He's been a member for 2 months. Let's get a hashtag 2 in the chat, please. Hope you're doing well there. Thank you, Gregory Burke, for being a member of this channel. He says, are you feeling better after losing weight, Piggy? I don't know. Hard to say, really. Feel more or less the same. I mean, obviously, I've had health issues since losing the weight. So, no, to answer your question, not really. I felt better, I felt healthier when I was a fatty. So, I don't know. No, but I think it's just coincided with me having some health issues and stuff, you know. I've got a CT scan coming out. Hopefully that reveals a bit more of what's going on. But no, to answer your question. Thank you, Gregory Burke, for your 2-month membership there, my bud. Appreciate you. Vootinator says we've got 96 likes. Keep hitting the thumbs up, lads and lasses, if you haven't done so. Help us get to the meaty 100. That'd be awesome. Let's have a like spike. Thank you very much. Must Play makes a great point and comments. We have Pellistri, Diallo, Sancho, Anthony, Rashford. If we get a striker, Garnacho. 100%, lad. So for Elanga to actually break into Manchester United's team and be utilised this season by Ten Hag, it's very unlikely. On the left-hand side, there's certainly players ahead of him. Rashford's ahead of him. Of course, Garnacho is ahead of him, in my opinion, as well, with how quality he looks. And then on the right-hand side, like you've said, Sancho's still around at this moment in time, even though yesterday it might as well have been Harvey Price playing out there on the pitch. Terrible performance by him, and he's just not really ever lived up to it over the last couple of seasons. Pretty rubbish. And then, obviously, you've got players like Anthony, who are Ten Hag's golden boy, who's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. He's obviously going to be given a lot of chances from Eric Ten Hag. And then, of course, at the striker position, it's like Elanga's not going to break in there either, is he? So I do agree with you, what you're saying there. It's very unlikely that he's going to play. Thank you, Gungshi. Yes, indeed. Pulverise the like button. Thank you, Don Gungshi. Hope you're doing great today, my lad. Chuck Lombardo says, João Felix Pig. Okay, well, João Felix is a player that we're being linked with. And maybe perhaps in a loan capacity it would work. We are strongly linked with him. We're not strongly linked with him, but we're strongly linked with him in the media at this moment in time, that he could be a player that we want. Seems a little bit outrageous to me. I don't see United being able to broker that sort of a deal with Atletico Madrid. Maybe in a loan capacity, but then we'd be paying a lot of money for a player, on loan, and it doesn't really solve our problem long term. But at the same time, maybe it gives us more of what we need right now. But as an out-and-out striker, I don't see it. I think he's better playing deeper, centre forward, maybe like, as a number 10 or maybe a false 9. But certainly he's a better creator. He only scored 4 goals in 20 games for Chelsea last season. So I don't think it gives us 20-plus league goals, which what we want. But he clearly is a good player, and he clearly is a young player. If the price was right and we could get him on a long-term deal, I would take him, I'll be honest. I would take him just to add to the squad. You can't have enough quality players. But he didn't have an amazing season last season for Chelsea in the Premier League. Let's be honest. Yeah, Phil Berry says, I'd take Felix on loan. But if we do, we won't get a number 9. That's the problem here. We're looking for a proper number 9. Is Felix really going to be the guy that scores all those goals for us this season? Probably not. He will help the squad, will help the creativity. Maybe you could play him a false 9. Maybe you could play Rashford and Anthony and these guys off of Felix and score a lot of goals that way. So, yeah, it depends on the style of how you're going to play, but I don't think he's exactly what we need right now. Nice one, seriously. He says, just bracing myself for a random 30-plus-year-old striker at the end of the winter. I saw Burnley's post earlier on. Wout Weghorst arrives back at training at Turf Moor. Wout Weghorst back for pre-season over there, mate. Could we go and get him again? No, obviously don't think so. But you're right. I mean, if we're not careful, we're going to end up with some sort of guff bag. We need to go and sign a striker. I am confused about United's whole transfer policy this season. I know there's a certain case of going to get players when they're available. But we've overpaid for Mason Mount. Don't care what anybody says. He's a £40 million player at best. We've overpaid for Mason Mount, and he's like our go-to guy at the start of the window. I don't really understand that. He's somebody that I would have acquired later on in the transfer window, as and when. Maybe could have got him for less money as well, because he only had a year left on his contract, and Chelsea don't want to lose this guy for nothing in a year, so they would have been more likely to do a deal for less money later on in the window, more than likely. We're going for Onana at 60 million euros-ish, which is crazy. We could have gone and got a striker earlier on at the start of the window as our first signing. We could have done that. There are obviously, complications, like who do you go and get? But we could have gone and got a striker as our first priority. And that is our priority in the squad, if you ask me. Or should have been our priority in the squad. But we haven't done that. We've ended up going to get Mount for too much money. And going to spend 60 million potentially on a goalkeeper when we had De Gea. So a little bit strange, but there you go. Okay, so, but anyway, sorry, we were talking about Anthony Elanga, weren't we? So, yeah, see you later on, Anthony. As far as I'm concerned, bye-bye, jog on, lad. It's not that he's not a good young lad. It's not that he's had a, bad time of it necessarily at United. It's just that I don't see how he's going to play in United squad ahead of Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, these guys. Doesn't really make a heck of a lot of sense to keep him, and he can generate 20 mil right now, which we could go and put towards a really good player. So I would say see you later on, but let's ask the live chat guys, keep, sell, or loan Anthony Elanga. What is your thoughts and opinions on that one? But for me, I would sell him. I don't think it necessarily makes sense to loan him out. Is he somebody that could flourish? I guess he could surprise a few people, but just doesn't seem to have as much potential as people like Garnacho. Loan says FCG, Ryan says sell, Cass says sell, Templapri says sell, Henrik says loan, James says sell, we need money says Superstar, sell says United Tactical Talk, sell says Pete Morris. Okay, so we could be looking at getting a few players gone this summer to get players off the books and generate cash. Donny van der Beek, Fred, Henderson, Elanga, these guys are somewhat realistic. There you go, Lucky Singh says Fred out, 80 million, go to new career at Fulham. Yeah, I'd like to get a bit more money for him than that, but certainly he is strongly on the agenda. There's certain players we would love to see go this summer, like Maguire and Martial, but the problem with those guys are Martial's an injury-prone melter who's currently injured, so he's hard to sell. He's like the new Phil Jones in that sense. He's always injured when it comes around to these transfer windows. Plus, he's on massive money every single week. Is he going to want to give up that contract? Is another club going to want to pay that money? The answer is no. Same goes for Harry Maguire. He's on too much money, and he's just a big slab. Will these prospective teams even be able to wheel him in through the door? That's it. They might have to deconstruct their doorway just to get Harry Maguire into their club. And nobody's going to have that extra added expense. He's not the easiest player to sell is what I'm saying. So these guys, certain players I think we might be stuck with, but certainly players who we can sell. Tellez, maybe saleable this summer. If certain players we can sell, we should sell. Certainly Elanga fits into that category. Fred to Saudi. Yeah, there's reports that Saudi Arabian teams are interested in him. Also Fulham reportedly interested in the guy. So we'll see what happens with Fred, but he's likely going to go this summer. Also, there's some interest in Scott McTominay, isn't there? A few teams, Brighton, Newcastle, Roma, are reportedly interested in Scott McTominay. He's certainly a player we should be looking to get rid of this summer also. So we'll see what we can do. We are historically terrible at getting rid of players, though. Historically, absolutely terrible. So hopefully we can do a bit of business with players out and just help us with acquiring new players and balancing the books a little bit in the wages department, especially if we are going to see the back of the Glazers, so the new owners can come in and have a little bit more room to manoeuvre with signing new players and that kind of thing. Okay then. So also one new update from today, guys, from Fab I wanted to mention. Just plays into the whole Andre Onana situation again. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. But more on Romelu Lukaku deal. Chelsea remain in contact with Inter, but consider €30 million bid still not at the level that they wanted to make the deal happen. The new talks will follow. Negotiations are ongoing with Inter. Also, Chelsea believe there are 2 more clubs prepared to enter the race. So Chelsea not desperate to sell Romelu Lukaku, not for that little amount of money anyway. God almighty, he will end up going for, I don't know, close to €50 million, 40 million, who knows? But goodness me, is there a player that's moved for more money throughout his career and it's unjustifiable? I mean, think about all the transfer fees that Romelu Lukaku has generated over the years. We paid, what, 75 million for him, didn't we? And then he went, we sold him for most of that money we got back, actually, when we sold him again. Crikey, I mean, his overall amount of money that he's gone for in his career is huge, absolutely astronomical. And you know what? He's shite. He's absolutely crap. I really don't understand it. He's pretty bang average, but the amount of money that he's generated throughout his career in transfer fees alone is mad. It's absolutely mad. You're right, Superstar. Yep, Lukaku's agent is good at his job. You're absolutely right about that, bud. Eddie's Football Waffle, how are you doing today, mate? A legend has entered the live chat. Get in there. Thank you, Eddie. He says, good day, Piggo and everyone. Just dropping a like while at work. Mate, thank you for getting in here while working away, bud. Really appreciate you joining us for the stream. And thank you for liking that video. Smack the like button if you haven't done so. Like Eddie says there, keep hitting the thumbs up. Yeah, you're right, though. You're right, FCG. Lukaku's transfer fee is massive. Not bad for a defender. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I mean, he's not a bad player. He's just not a technically gifted player. You know, he's got a role. He's big, he's strong, he can hold the ball up, he can head the ball down, he scores goals. Even at Manchester United, he did actually have a goal-scoring record of 1 in every 2 games. It's not terrible. It's not Wout Weghorst-esque. It's not a terrible tally, but that's what he is. He's that sort of a guy. He's going to get you 1 in 2 kind of sort of thing in the top leagues, and that's not really justifiable for £75 million player, is it? But anyway, Chelsea will do the deal probably this summer. They obviously want to get some cash for the guy. Inter Milan will take him back, and for a bit more money than that. When they were talking about 30 million, it does seem cheap in this current market. So I think that they'll probably go for 40 or 50 million in the end. He's a good player for that league, but he's certainly not a top player for this league. And Chelsea spent so much money last summer. You've seen them actually do great business. I would love to have Chelsea's, team when it comes to getting rid of players. Their transfer department works overtime compared to Manchester United's, doesn't it? When you think about the players that they've sold just this summer alone, they're players that they bought for big money themselves. They're players that they pay big money to, but they're actually capable of getting big money for these players when they sell them. That's the difference between Chelsea and United. Unfortunately, we are terrible at negotiating deals for players going in the opposite direction. Look at some of the recent players we've seen go out. Most of them end up leaving Manchester United at a massive loss. We don't make any profits on players. And they've managed to somehow coax 65 million out of Arsenal for Havertz. And he's a bang average melter who's sort of melted in the Premier League since he come over from Germany. And they've managed to get 60 million out of Manchester United for Mount. And they do lots of business. Ziyech, 40 million or whatever it was. They're doing lots of business, these Chelsea scummers. Romelu Lukaku's going to go out. Why are Chelsea able to sell players on and we're not? We are actually pathetic when it comes to trying to sell players. And players we do sell, we end up selling them for a pittance. We're rubbish when it comes to transfers. I don't know why. We're just awful. We are absolutely awful. Thank you for subscribing there, Truth Hunter. Nice one, Truth Hunter. Yes, guys, if you guys are new to the channel like Truth Hunter, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. That would be awesome. Please do hit the subscribe if you guys are new. We're on here daily doing the latest updates for transfers for Manchester United. We cover all the games. We do pre-season watch-alongs, so come and hang out with the community. Smash the subscribe. Click the bell icon. Also, I'll take a moment just to say smash that like button again if you haven't done so yet. Helps us compete with the clickbait wankers and corporation mugs. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you smash the like and subscribe. Also, give us a share on social media. We will shout out everyone who's retweeted us on Twitter in a minute. So go over to Twitter. It's pinned to the top of the live chat, or search Flying Pig United. Give us a cheeky little retweet. There you go, Vutinator. Lukaku, 75 million to us, 73 million to Inter, 100 million to Chavsky, Chavsky to Inter. Pretty unbelievable, isn't it, the Vutinator? Pretty weird, that whole trajectory and that arc of his career. And just the fact that he's generated all that money throughout his career for, let's face it, a bang average donkey. He is actually crap. I don't understand it. I've never really understood the whole Lukaku vibe. I think he's a pretty average player. Look, in the right team, he can do well, but don't understand how he justifies that amount of money throughout his career. It's pretty mad. Yeah, Jarvis, absolutely agree with you, my friend. He says the reason is we have no pool, so we end up overpaying, the wages are jacked up, and we don't give performance-based contracts. It's because of Ed Woodward, the prick. Couldn't agree more. We're stuck with so many players, and even when we've got players, we seem desperate to sign them up to new contracts where we give them way too much money and give them a new deal, and then we're stuck with them, i.e. Phil Jones. Who in their right mind would pay Phil Jones 100 grand a week, especially at the time when he signed a new deal? Madness, isn't it, what we do? You're right, Eddie Woody Woodward, what a potato-headed prick. Unreal. But it's still continuing at Manchester United. We're stuck with so many players. We gave Maguire too much, Tony Martial too much. All of our players that we have got at United, we've given too much. I mean, we've let David De Gea go recently. 375k that guy was on. It's mad. We had to let him go for free. So, you're absolutely bang on with what you just said there. I couldn't agree more. We price players out the market. But like I say, though, Chelsea still able to sell players for big money, even though they were paying quite a lot of these players quite a lot of money as well. But I agree, Manchester United do end up paying players wages to astronomical figures. It's pretty out of the ordinary. Lucky Singh says the bid has to go in today, £47 million. Well, yeah, that's what the MEN are reporting here, that United submit £47 million bid. We'll see if that's the case and whether or not Inter are prepared to play ball on that one. Let's hope they are. Let's hope they are, my friend. Okay, so quick rundown of what we've discussed, and then we're going to get into the live chat for a bit of a Q&A. So if you're frustrated about your comments not being read out, hang tight, because we're going to get into the Q&A. Before I do, I'm going to go over to Twitter and shout out everyone that's given us a retweet. Take a moment to retweet it if you haven't, and that'd be much appreciated. But let's just shout the legends out. 20 retweets today. Get in there, you legends. Thank you, everyone who's retweeted the show. That does mean a lot. I appreciate you all. And Boomy's retweeted. Berber, a.k.a. Ryan, a.k.a. The Gaming Sim. What a legends retweeted the show. JK United, thank you. John Boy Cat, Kieran Watts, Feline Fur, Leighton Mills, Dean Moxley, Bob Loft, Roger Morley, Zane Charles, Slippery Jack, Ken Thompson, Tim Whistler, Ziggy Sawdust, Gina Varney, Ben Carpenter, Terry Hoskins, Mr. Sims, and Ray Jones, all retweeting the show today. Thank you very much, all the 21 retweeters there. I appreciate you guys very much indeed for retweeting us there, guys. What a bunch of legends. Thanks for spreading the word of the channel. Every little helps there. And you can give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and these places at Flying Pig United. Great stuff, great stuff. Right then, okay, let's get into the live chat, guys. Oh, no, wait, before I do, quick rundown of what we've discussed for anyone just getting in the show. So Andre Onana trained today. He arrived for pre-season at Inter and signed autographs for fans and who chanted his name. There's obviously uncertainty at the moment surrounding United's goalkeeper position, as there is at Inter's. They've also let Handanovic go, and they're looking at bringing somebody like Sommer in or Trubin. You know, they're looking at various different players. So they're looking at a couple of players. Lukaku's another one as well. So they're having a look at certain players right now, and they're looking to maybe get rid of a player like Onana to help finance some of these transfers. Inzaghi yesterday said that Inter are in the position, like most teams in Italy, where they have to sell in order to buy big, high-profile players to bring in. So they are looking to sell Onana. Man United want to get the deal done today. Reports of a £47 million bid could be enough to tempt Inter. Other reports suggest 60 million euros is the figure that it's going to take to get Inter Milan to agree to the deal. It could be done quickly, hopefully in the next few hours, we'll see. Or it could take a long time. You know what United are like when it comes to transfers. Fab said that today will be the crucial 24-hour period between Inter and United for negotiations. So we're waiting to see if Man United can strike up a deal with Inter today. Hopefully it will be announced very, very soon. And then in regards to Hojlund, reports come out today that Man United have been negotiating with them, trying to get some sort of an exchange deal done, maybe including a player plus cash deal. Seems like Atalanta are not overly interested in that, and they want £85 million for the guy. As reported by Laurie Whitwell, take it with a pinch of salt, may well not be the case. And let's face it, just because that's what they want doesn't mean that's what they're going to get. There is a negotiation here. There were reports a couple of weeks ago that United had submitted a £35 million bid for him. If they want 85, maybe we can meet them somewhere in the middle. And it probably would be worth paying 55 million or 60 million euros to bring this guy in. Let's ask the live chat, guys. How much do you think Hojlund's actually worth to Man United right now? I'd be happy if we paid 50 or 60 million for him, to be fair, for a great young prospect who could go on and do some brilliant things. But 85 million, way too steep. It's crazy. Crazy money. And then Fabrizio retweeted his latest status update today on Hojlund, which is just that he remains at the top of the list for United, and we are obviously very interested in him, and he's keen on the move, and personal terms not an issue, all that sort of stuff. Let's see what the live chat say about Hojlund's value. So 50 says Kingslayer, 45 million, he's not proven yet. 40 to 50 says Ryan, 69 says Superfat Frank, 60 says Jarvis. Yeah, I'd be happy with paying 50 or 60 million euros for the guy, but any more than that, it just doesn't really add up. You might as well go and add a bit more cash and go and get a Kane-type proven Premier League goal scorer. 55 says Gungshi, 40 to 50 says United I Die, 60 top says Madhouse, 50 says Duncan and Templar Priest, 50 to 60 Superstar, 50 says Pete Morris, 55, Ben Bray says 45. I think you guys are around about in agreement with me. You know, he probably is worth 45 or 50 or 60 million tops, but 85 million is absolutely ridiculous. Duke of Frodtown says 56 is reasonable. I mean, in this current market, with the amount of money that players go for, it is reasonable. Even though he's just a young player and he scored 9 goals last season, you're paying that money for the potential. Okay, great stuff. And then also Elanga to Everton is a big possibility. They are strongly interested in bringing him in. Also, other teams are understood to be interested, but they are the front runners at the moment. Fabrizio said that there are several clubs keen on him since January, but Everton will hold direct talks with Manchester United for Anthony Elanga, and a new round of negotiations will take place soon after showing initial interest. So Elanga could be on his way out. Well, that's the latest afternoon news. We're awaiting more updates in regards to Onana. Hopefully it comes later on today and we can get some positive news, because we are, again, having a sloppy and slow transfer window so far. We need to get Onana in so we don't have to worry about the goalkeeper position. Then we can go and focus on the striker, which we desperately need to get. Okay, let's get into the live chat for a Q&A. Like, subscribe, comment, get your thoughts and opinions in. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and have your say. Now's the time. Thank you, everyone who's in here. What a bunch of legends. Let's see what you guys have got to say for yourselves. Fat Chinese Gaming says, I know this could be a bit off topic, but is it United have decided not to go for Harry Kane? Not yet, Fat Chinese Gaming. It seems we've turned our attentions elsewhere and that Hojlund's top of the list for Ten Hag and who he wants. There's factors as to why we haven't gone in for Harry Kane. You're absolutely right. We haven't bid for Harry Kane. Bayern have bid for Harry Kane. We haven't bid for Harry Kane. It doesn't mean that we aren't going in for him. It doesn't mean that we don't have the interest there. It just means that there's not great value for money in that deal. Spurs are a nightmare to deal with. We could get him in a year's time for free. So there's varying factors as to why we've not gone in for him. Maybe we will go in for him before the end of the transfer window if he's still a Spurs player and try and get him for a reasonable price. The longer that it goes on this summer, the less money I think Spurs will be able to actually get. They're asking for £120 million for the guy. Not realistic for a player that has literally 1 year left on his contract. Bayern have bid €70 million and then €80 million for the guy. Spurs want more than that. So Bayern probably aren't going to be interested in going for him because they know they could also sign this guy in a year for nothing. And they could actually agree pre-contract terms with him in January to sign him next summer. So it's not that long to wait for anybody trying to get this guy for a lot less money. There's so much money in the Kane deal. It's not the most attractive because he's on big money. He would be on big money, a few £100,000 a week at least for signing him on to a few-year contract. He's slightly injury prone. He has actually stayed fit last couple of seasons reasonably well, but he has historically been a little bit injury prone. So that's a bit of a red herring there. Then you've also got the fact that Spurs are a nightmare to deal with and want way too much money. There's varying factors as to why it's a very complicated deal. And it is a very complicated deal. So United haven't gone in for him directly and had those bids or anything yet with Spurs. I hope that they do. I hope that Spurs become more realistic about their valuation of Kane. Because if they do want to get big money, 90 million quid, 100 million quid this summer, they're going to have to sell him. They're not going to get that in a year's time. And I don't see Kane signing up a new contract there because surely he knows that this is the last chance for his career to go somewhere and win some trophies and have a little bit of a success in his career. He's not going to achieve that as Spurs, even if he loves them. It's just not going to happen. So he's got to go somewhere else. And if he wants to get that Premier League all-time goal-scoring record off of Alan Shearer, then he's going to have to stay in England. And the only real true destination that makes sense and the only team that's really going to go for him in England would probably be Manchester United. And it's a great fit for him at this moment in time because we're desperate for a striker. He's not going to go to City because they've got Haaland. And, so it makes sense. But it only makes sense for the right price. We're not going to pay 120 million for this guy when we can get him for free in a year's time. So it doesn't quite add up there. Thank you very much for your comment, though. Walk away from Hojlund. Yeah, I agree with you, Madhouse, for that amount of money. But for less money, if we can agree a deal, it's still a good signing for Ten Hag, and especially if you can get him for 45 million or 50 million max, somewhere around about there, then I would love to take him into the squad. I mean, my personal opinion is United should have ambition and go and get 2 strikers this summer. 2 different type of forward players. Whether that's João Felix on loan and Hojlund as a transfer, or whether it's Hojlund and Harry Kane. Have some bloody ambition. Go and give us what we need. It's not like we would be wanting for, these players to have games. We've got a lot of games to play in the Champions League and all these competitions. We're going to have injuries. We can't expect Rashford to come in and deputise at striker all the time. And when we do, we lose something on the left. So why not go and get 2 forward players who can play that role? Martial's a melter. Martial's always injured. Martial's shite, really, in the grand scheme of things. So you can't rely on him anyway. Greenwood, with all that business going on around him, is he even going to be in the squad? Maybe not. I think we need 2 forwards. Maybe you need 1 forward who can play a bit deeper. Maybe you need another forward who's playing on the last man as an out-and-out number 9. But certainly 2 forwards this summer would be what we need, really. It would be brilliant to get them in and have a great season. Jamie Vardy, hey, listen, if we could get Jamie Vardy as a backup, brilliant. What a great proven player within the league. He'd be good for a season. I know he's 36, but crikey, he's still a good player. We need 2 strikers, but we can't this summer, or we breach FFP. Well, it depends. I mean, Vardy wouldn't be a lot of money, would he? And also, if we sell a player, you talk about FFP, but it's also based on, you know, not just commercial revenue. And if you balance the books by selling players, you can spend a bit more. We need 2 strikers, says Alex Core. Hey, Don Berber's in here. What's going on, you legend? He says, all of our attackers are crap. Let's be brutally honest. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. All of the players that we've seen play at striker over the last year, not up to the standard. I mean, Rashford obviously is good, but he's not an out-and-out striker. He's not clinical in the sense of a true number 9 like Harry Kane or something. He's better on the wide positions, if you ask me, with his running at defenders, cutting in, causing havoc. You know, that's where I see his best position. But as an out-and-out clinical striker, we don't actually possess one. We don't possess a clinical striker at the club, and that's just wrong. That's why Harry Kane would be an amazing signing. Ibaka Noah, welcome in. Yes, I am back, lad, doing the daily streams. We're going to be doing afternoon streams, giving you the latest rundown of the United news, and evening streams every night as well, around about 9 or 10 p.m, giving you the latest rundown for United news. So make sure you stick around, and anytime you're wondering whether or not we're going to be on the channel, it's usually going to be around about 3 p.m. and usually around about 9 or 10 p.m, so keep a lookout on the channel. Yeah, look, Ronaldo scored the same goals as Rashford last year in a worse team. He was more the focal point of the side, you know. But you're right, Ronaldo was epic for us that season, to be fair to him. Him and De Gea literally saved us that season from really finishing badly. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I have lost a bit of weight, William Reedy. Thanks for noticing, bud. Thank you very much, Henrik Kilman. Love you too, my friend. Ivan Toney would not be a terrible sign-in. I mean, he's a good player, but I wouldn't bet on it, mate. You know, I wouldn't bet on it. Jarvis says, would you give McNeil or Hugo a chance as third choice striker? McNeil's a super talent. Scored over 600 goals for City's academy before came to United. I think we should introduce them into the squad and give them opportunities. I wouldn't suggest that they are ready to go and be the first choice striker in the squad, though. I mean, I was impressed with Hugo yesterday as well. You know, there's movement. He scored that finish. It was nice. It looked like a really good young player, you know. And from what I've seen from both McNeil and Hugo, they look like good young talents. But I don't think they're ready to come in and be the number 9. I mean, certainly I would introduce them into the squad and give them opportunities in backup rotationary sort of roles, you know, give them chances in lesser League Cup games and things like that and see what they can do. So yes, I would absolutely give these chances to these youngsters. I don't think we did that enough last season. We definitely should do that. If you want to create a new player like a Rashford or bring a prospect through like a Greenwood, you've got to give them some games, don't you? And I say yes, I would give these lads some chances, but to say that they'd be ready to be our number 1 choice up there, it's too soon for them at the moment. But if you're good enough, you're old enough. But we haven't seen enough from them to say they'd be able to do it in the first team week in, week out, you know. But there you go. Mate, that's awesome, No Toes. Get in there, my son. Inspiring people since 2022. Come on. JK says, would you be happy with Felix as a loan and Vardy as a backup? I mean, yes, I would. Compared to what we've got now, absolutely I would. Vardy's the great sort of player who can play on the last man, get in behind defences, stretch opposition defences. And Felix is a different type of forward player who's very good creatively, who can drop deep, who can create chances for you and score some goals as well. So I think they would be the perfect foil for each other, actually, because they're 2 different types of strikers. And I think United need 2 different forward players to be able to really do what we need this season. So yes, I would be happy with that. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not long-term thinking because Vardy's old and João Felix would probably be on loan. But, you know, it actually makes a heck of a lot of sense. We don't have anybody up there at the moment. We can't rely on Martial. I don't think Rashford should play striker that often, only as and when we need. And so, yes, I would be well up for that, to be fair. Vooty says we got 134 likes. Thanks, everyone, for hitting the like button. Yes, we're nearly at 150 likes, guys. Keep hitting the thumbs up button. Help us get to 150 likes for this stream. Cheers, guys. Right, I'm going to read a few more comments out, so get your thoughts in there quickly. Vutinator says he's not even playing for a sinking Leicester, for fuck's sake. Hey, look, as a backup, mate, as a backup Vutinator, we could do a lot worse. The guy is 36 and he's at the tail end of his career. But honestly, we're not talking about somebody to come in and play week in, week out with Vardy. We'd be talking about somebody to come in and be a backup and do basically like a, you know, a chip-in role. Chip in with some goals. Maybe he could get you 10 goals for the season and stuff like that. Maybe he could come in and play a role. Remember when we signed Michael Owen? You know, that sort of shit. Yes. Berber says the longer this goes on, the more convinced I am we'll get Veggie for another season. That would be pure filth. He's just gone back to Burnley today. I saw them post on social media. Absolute filth. Get Vardy, says Bruce. If Martial was your babysitter, you would never go out, says Templar Priest. You what? Ray UK says Atalanta director of football is the same director of football that was at Leicester City that sold us Harry Maguire for 80 mil. Right, yes, absolutely. And he will, that's probably why he wants to get 85 million for Hojlund. Just needs to be 70% of what Sheringham did for us as Notos. Lucky says, Fred, you can go today, 18 million, along with Alanga, 15 million, both free to leave. Hey, fair enough, lad. I'm with you in generating the cash, get them off our books, as the same I am with a lot of players in the squad, to be fair. I think it's time for a new era at United. Would you take Pogba back? Jarvis, so I've heard that Juve are prepared to let him go for 10 million euros, which is as good as free, really, for a big name player. You know, he only played 6 times for them. He signed for them on a free, obviously leaving us. I mean, to be honest, guys, no. Definitely not Jarvis. I wouldn't take him because he's not going to sign for nothing. It will work out to be quite a bit of money up front in terms of a signing on fee and wages. He probably would want at least a £250,000 a week. He's not worth it, in my humble opinion. He's just not worth it. And he's more trouble than he's worth. He's kind of a lackadaisical, lazy sort of player. I never really saw him doing it for United. He always labours around the football pitch. Occasionally you get a really full-blooded performance from him, but I was always frustrated by his manner of play, you know? And it's one thing to have perhaps what you would consider, I don't know, like a lazy style. Like there's certain players who maybe had a lazy style, right? Like Berbatov, for instance. But Berbatov was super effective. Pogba always looked like he wasn't arsed out there for me. He always looked like he dawdled on the ball too often, was always too slow, you know. I don't know. I wouldn't want to ruin the squad harmony that Ten Hag's created in the last year by introducing Pogba back into the side. I don't think it makes sense. Really doesn't make sense. He is a talented player. We've always said that about him. But so's Tony Martial. These players have the ability. We know they do. But do they translate that to the football pitch often? No, not really. Not as often as they should. So it's best to leave alone, I think. Best to leave Pogba alone. If Juve were prepared to let him go for 10 mil, that tells you everything, really, about what sort of a player he has become. You'd rather re-sign Weghorst and play in midfield again? Yeah, there you go. Be funny if he went to Spurs. 10 plus says, when Pogba turned up, did you see how bad Lingard got as they were mates? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Lingard hasn't been good since 2017, let's be honest. Pogba beside Casemiro, Pogba's a deep playmaker. I mean, we're talking about Pogba on his best days here, though. That's the thing. Pogba on his best day, yes, he's a great player. But it doesn't come around often enough. The amount of times I said he's a 1 in 5 merchant. He comes and plays and performs to his abilities 1 every 5 games. It beggars belief. He's not consistent enough. That's the problem. He's become injury prone as well. He's not consistent enough. Can't afford to not run in the engine room of midfield. Precisely. Fat Chinese Gaming, where the news on Caicedo is that Chelsea are front runners to sign him. Brighton want 80 mil. United aren't realistically having negotiations. We should be trying to, though, but looks like he's going to Chelsea if they're prepared to stump up 80 mil, which I think they probably will, and they probably should, based on the fact they got 65 for Havertz and 60 for Mount. Yeah, Jarvis says it's silly season. I'm just waffling. I know you're just being hypothetical. We talked about it yesterday, about the potential of Pogba. We asked the live chat. I mean, let's ask the live chat again, guys. Would you take Pogba back at United for free? And we're not even talking about for free. Juve probably wouldn't let him go for free. They probably want at least 10 mil. But would you take him back for free? Yes or no? I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch him with a shitty stick. Yeah, Pogba's best days are in a France shirt. No, says United till I die. No way, says JK. No, says like you saying, no chance, says Super Fat Frank. Everyone see Modric last month. I mean, look, Modric is... Don't even compare. Hell no, says Primot. Big Fat No, says FCG. David Watkins says no. No, says Duncan. Pogba's dog shit, says Acid. No, effing way, says Bruce. Jarvis says no. Hell no, says the Bootinator. Pogba, no way, says Pete. No, says no. Everyone says no. Hey, Mark N says if Ten Hag wants him. No, says Cass. No, says Ernest. Too disruptive. Literally everybody says no. So there's no There is no discrepancy in the chat here. Everyone thinks it would be a bad idea. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Luan France says no to Pogbug. Dressing room poison must be avoided at all costs. Oh, Noto said yes. He said yes. Okay then. Noto said yes. Zane Miyasi, what is going on with you, Zane, today? Welcome aboard the Bacon Express. Thank you for getting your highlighted member comment there. He's been a Bacon and Egg Brigade member for 4 months, and none of which are his own doing. Even though he's a massive supporter of this channel, he can't take it upon himself to be a member. He has to wait for other people to gift it him. True Arsenal scummer. No, I respect it. How you doing there, Zane Miyasi? He says, what happens if Onana stays and you don't sign a striker? Sorry, is it Groundhog Day? Is Bill Murray going to pop up in a moment and step over a puddle or something? Is this Groundhog Day? You came in here and you said that yesterday, Zamiasi. Bloody hell, lad. Crikey, you literally asked this yesterday. Can you not remember? I thought you were on some sort of crystal meth or something yesterday before that you were saying, bud. This is just confirming it. You can't remember what you were talking about yesterday, bud. Listen, you asked me that yesterday, Zane, and I answered you, and I'll tell you the, what happens if Onana stays, you don't sign a striker? Actually, no, sorry, he didn't say that. He said, sorry, I've just remembered it's me who's been on the meth, clearly. Yesterday, he actually asked me, we've signed Onana and Mount, what about signing a striker, basically, is what he said. I thought, sorry, it's my bad. He says, what happens if Onana stays and you don't sign a striker? Well, it's very hypothetical, isn't it? I mean, if Onana stays, this is what happens, Zamiasi. If Onana stays at Inter, we go and sign a different goalkeeper. Who is a very big question, but we obviously need to go and sign a different goalkeeper. Or the crazy thing happens and Henderson becomes our number 1, or Heaton or something. But that's not that realistic. We're not going to go into the season just with Heaton or Henderson, I don't think. I think we're going to try and sell Hendo, and we would likely turn our attentions to a different goalkeeper. Maybe we do something crazy like re-sign David De Gea for a year. I don't know. But that was what would happen if Onana stays. And if we don't sign a striker, well then, we probably struggle to get top 4 this season and maybe bring Wout Weghorst back on loan or something. You know, it's really, really not going to happen though. I don't think it's going to happen because we're desperate for a striker. And we would be foolish not to go out there and get a striker this season. So pretty sure we would end up getting a striker. So that's, but yes, if we don't do that, if hypothetically, if we don't get Onana and we don't sign a striker, then we're in for a tough season, aren't we? We really are. High like a banana in the sky. Pig, what midfield are you starting in the Prem and Champions League next season? Right, hear me out here for a second. This might surprise a few people, but hear me out. So I would go for Casemiro, Bruno alongside Casemiro, you know, obviously playing box to box and getting around, industriousness, and Mount in front. So if we're playing a 4-2-3-1, that is. That's the midfield that I would actually play. Is, you know, I would, Eriksen's obviously still going to play a role, but first choice, I think maybe Mount would be good for us playing in the CAM sort of role. Bruno, I was quite impressed with a few of the games that he played, playing a bit deeper for us towards the end of last season, where he's almost playing like a deep line playmaker role, and he's sort of spreading those passes and dictating the play from deep. And obviously Casemiro's sitting in front of the back 4, protecting the back 4. So I would actually be kind of up for seeing that. I'd be kind of up for seeing Bruno Fernandes playing behind Mount, if that makes sense, and Mount giving some opportunities. But again, what's so good about having Mount and Bruno is that they're almost interchangeable in that sense. So, you know, Bruno, Cassie and Mount. Yeah, JK says, I agree, Pig, because Bruno's deep passing would be fire. Absolutely, yeah, it looked good. I agree, says No Toes. Where would I play Maguire? I'd play him at Kettering Town. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this video up now, folks. We've been on here a while. I'm going to wrap it up. We're waiting news for Onana's confirmation of any sort of deal between United and Inter. We'll jump back on as and when that happens. Hopefully that does come. If not, then, well, it's another slow news day. But we will be back on tonight as a bare minimum around about 9 or 10 with a late night transfer show where we cover all the evening's transfer news. That's what we're going to be doing, a daily transfer show like this one around about the afternoon time and an evening show. So make sure you come and join us tonight for the transfer news. And will there be FIFA? There may well be. We'll see. Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching the stream. All the legends in the live chat. Dom Berberini. We have no subs to play the same way. Well, Eriksen's there. Eriksen's, you know, a very good player to have in the squad. But, you know, beyond that, we are struggling. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show. Really appreciate you legends. Every single one of you guys. Thank you, Don Berber. Thank you, everyone, for watching the show. Absolute hero. Thank you to all the moderators like Berber and Vutinator and Gungshi and everyone for getting in here raw. Thank you to all the members like Jarvis Cocker. What an absolute hero. Ravens Mansand. Kingslayer, Gregory, you know, all thank you everyone for getting in, guys. That's the end of the show. You can come back after this video's finished and get your thoughts and opinions in the not live comment section about Hojlund. Do you think he's worth 85 million? Onana, do you think it happens, yes or no, etc. Come back and have your say afterwards, after the show's finished, and get your thoughts and opinions in there. Have a great day as well, Luan France and everybody else. Thank you everyone for joining. That's the end of the show. Stay classy. Piggy loves you. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok and Twitch at Flying Pig United. Check out the website, flyingpigunited.com for United news. Check out the social media accounts in the description. You can follow us at Flying Pig United on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Kick and Threads. Go and give us a follow at Flying Pig United. Yes, we are over our kings, but the debate doesn't have to end there. Come back and have your say after the show's finished. God bless you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's the end of the show, and I'll see you later on for the evening news. Or if there's any breaking news, we'll jump on. Smash the bell icon so you don't miss the notifications. That's it from me. God bless you, and remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, as this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.